I'm Carol Marchetti. I'm an associate professor in the School of Mathematical Sciences at RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. To improve learning in my classroom, I decided I wanted to have students be more active. So I have a lot of cooperative learning. Every day in class, after a short lecture, the students engage in group work. I purposely mix up hearing statuses, as well as genders and majors and year level, to try to get a lot of diversity within the groups. The purpose of this workshop is twofold. First is to inform instructors about an effective tool for facilitating participation, communication, and learning in student work groups. The second is to allow the participants to actually have this experience for themselves. The workshop starts out with an activity for participants. They're going to be asked to either solve a problem, come up with an answer to a question as a group. So part of what would probably come out of the debrief is that there was not equal participation. Perhaps participants weren't all sure of what they were supposed to be doing within the group. There's not always good communication between group members, and not everyone leaves with the same level of knowledge about the problem that they were working on. The next part of the workshop introduces the use of whiteboards as a communication tool and strategies that the instructor can use to support that use. We start with talking about what cooperative learning is, the benefits and the challenges that arise in the classroom. And next we talk about course design for cooperative learning, designing activities to enhance cooperative learning, setting up the environment for success, setting expectations for students, how the instructor can model the behavior they want to see the students using, and finally learning cycles. That's feedback and improvements to enhance group dynamics. And so hopefully they all found that it was easier to collaborate when the expectations were very clear. It was easier to communicate because they had the whiteboard to help them if there were any types of communication differences. And hopefully they'll leave with a positive view of what this can do in their own classroom. When I see that somebody's not participating or that there seems to be a breakdown in communication, I step into the group and I model the behavior that I'm expecting. So when I step in, first of all, I make them all stand in a semicircle so they can all see me and they can see the interpreter, and then we talk through what's happening, and I actually tell them, do you see how I'm making sure that everyone can see me? That's important to make sure that that's how everyone is involved, right? And everyone can be engaged in the group work. When you're talking down to your piece of paper or you're talking while you're writing on the board, you are leaving out other people in your group. So a lot of times the light bulb goes on then. What we found was that using the whiteboards changed the whole dynamic of the room, where students used to be sitting the entire time. And you know, they were talking, there was some buzz in the room. When they started using the whiteboards, especially when they were standing, the energy in the room just changed. They're looking around the room to see what other people are doing, and that kind of gives them a sense too that, oh, we're doing it the same way, we're doing this right. This method was really created intentionally to help the deaf and hard of hearing students become more engaged in what's going on in the classroom. It also, I noticed it also helped hearing students. They really enjoyed being able to see the work that was going on, to be able to show it to me, to be able to put it up there and sit back and think about it a little. The workshop concludes with lessons learned, with recommendations for instructors, such as how to motivate their students, and also with some resources for various whiteboard options.